Hi, I'm Patricia Allingham Carlson, and this is Cloistered 3, Part 2 of 4. You know, in this painting, I'm trying to establish a mood, almost an emotion of peacefulness. The combination of magical colors and still waters are my attempt to create this feeling. In Part 2, more sketching, and I am beginning the details. I'm adding the shoreline definition, and I'm continuing to add to the reflections. I hope you enjoy it. And give it a thumbs up if you do. Now let's paint. I'm bringing out the building by putting darks to the left of it. And so the yellow building begins to stand out more. And it's a play between dark and light, with the darkness making the light stand out and adding accents, and the lightness adding the highlights to the painting. Up above, I'm trying to paint around the circular orb form in the sky. And adding some leaves around the tree on the right side. As well as some distant trees going back into the enchanted forest. I've decided to shorten the base of the castle tower, and I'm bringing it up and flush with the shoreline now. And it looked better to my eyes that way. I'm uniting the rocks that go across in front of both buildings in the front. And I'm beginning to detail some of the buildings more, putting in shadows around the roof line and the window. At this point, the work begins to get more delicate and fine. I'm actually painting individual rocks all around the window. And then I decide I better make some individual rocks in the actual structure of the building itself. So I begin to sketch in many, many, many little tiny rows of stone. And something I like to try to do is work with shapes that are already there and just try to enhance them if I possibly can, because the whole thing seems to look more natural that way. So this took a lot of painting to make all these little stones, but I think the detailing worked and made the painting stronger. Next, I move over to detail the tower. Adding a little bit of dreamy color with some yellow and some peach, and going over top of the blue colors and then get some greens. And putting in a darker roof on the purple building certainly made the castle tower stand out more. Taken some of that darkness off, but some remains next to where the tower is to make it stand out. Arbitrarily, I pick a couple spots to add some rings going around the tower to provide some architectural interest. And then I add some individual rocks around the window in the tower. Time to bring out that orb up in the sky a bit more. So I paint some blue around it so that the orb will stand out. It's interesting to be adding order to organize the chaos that this painting started out to be. But it is a fun challenge, and I do enjoy it. I have decided to make the stone area in front of the yellow and blue houses into a stone wall that is somewhat disheveled and falling down. And then I decided to add a little staircase going down to the water. And bringing up a tree in front. And another white tree is growing up between the two buildings. I'm using the white ink for that, of course. I usually begin the white ink, on the thinner side. And as I decide I like what I'm placing, I make it thicker to make it stand out more. Back to my darks. The darks making the lights stand out more and adding some good accents and some depth to the painting. In this case, I am using Payne's Gray, Indigo, and Sepia mixed together in varying forms, as well as some purple to create my darks. But I do end up using black a little bit later in the composition. Now, black is a color that we're always encouraged to stay away from in nature. Trying to mix up beautiful shades of darks with other colors instead, because black can appear very flat and lifeless. However, this is not a natural, realistic painting. This is a fantasy, fairy tale, cloistered secret place. So the black does work for me when I end up using it. And I have learned to use a ruler to line up my shapes on the shoreline and my shapes in the water, because they do have to reflect straight down and not be all shifty. Bringing out the orb a little bit more up in the sky. And shading around the white tree on the right to make the white tree pop out more. And you can see how the darks are making the white tree stand out. Now I'm making the shoreline nice and straight. And I want it to go directly across the paper. I do not want it to be slanting in some odd way. I'm bringing in some blue to suggest water. Now some rocks can come over and forward a little bit, and some can be going back behind a little bit. Just trying to add a consistent look. I hope you enjoyed my series of painting Cloistered 3. Talking about this painting, I describe it as a dreamscape, a mood painting. I use the term painting by intuition, and what I haven't said is how much I love painting in this approach. Creating a thought and a sense of place out of the random forms that are created by color and plastic wrap. I hope you can find some discoveries of your own if you ever try this approach. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and you can subscribe at the links below. If you click on the bell, you'll get a notice whenever I post a new video. There's also some links to check out with the products that I like to use. Now you keep on creating, and I'll see you next time.